So the first thing I do when I'm working on a game is I start writing. When I first got this notebook, I wrote down one idea. But this is an idea that Ray had for the name of a monster, Ferociraptor. See? This is where they come from. Like name ideas, I care about names a lot, like having the right name. Like I put them on the little dividers here. This is really the Brutal Legend one. Yeah, I found one of my old Van Halen stickers. Metal names. Every time I have a name idea, I write it down here. And then you can see that I used some of these. Like Crowley, have you used? No, I didn't use Lords of Mercy. Odeon, Hammersmith. Some of these, I guess I didn't use too many of these. Talisk made it in the game. One of our early programmers was like, have you ever seen the movie Seven? A lot of your notebooks just look like that crazy guy from Seven who just writes. So here is a really, really old Brutal Legend one.
What were you listening to? Yeah,
For some reason I wrote it down. I was listening to In Flames. I was listening to the Gestures Dance, which actually, we got some songs from Brutal Legend from that album. I do listen to a lot of heavy metal when I'm writing for some reason, because even though it's really, really loud and it seems like it's really obnoxious, it's like, if you listen, especially if you've listened to something a lot, you can tune it out, and so it's just really loud, and it keeps me from hearing people come to my door, want to talk to me, and then walk away, or even knocking on the door. So during Grim Fandango, I was listening to this one Motorhead album over and over and over again, late at night, because I had to stay awake, so I had to listen to super loud. But during Full Throttle, this sounds funny, I was listening to the first two Liz Phair albums, which are like not very Full Throttle-esque at all. But I was there late at night in the office all by myself, blasting Liz Phair. I don't know why. Sometimes I get kind of superstitious, because if I have a good day where I write tons of pages and have lots of stars and stuff, I'll just play that album the rest of the time, because that was obviously a magic album that gave me a lot of ideas. I accidentally will leave it on a loop, so by the end of the session, I'll be like, oh God, I'm sick of this album. I didn't even realize I was listening to it until it came up the third time. And for Grim Fandango, I do have one of these for Grim Fandango that because you do a lot of name brainstorming where you just write down all these dumb names, trying to come up with the name of the character.
What's the orange Full Throttle story?
Let's see. I think this is like a story doc that we did. So this is like Peter Chan's storyboards. And then I would paste them in here and write all what was happening for the cutscenes. Hey, it's Ben. Limo pulls up ominously outside, just like the beginning of Easy Rider. And then I wrote a note. Cool. This is written so I could communicate this with the team so they could do the cutscenes. Here's Ben getting hit on the head. Fade to black. Okay, so I'm actually describing the interactivity here. So this is the dumpster with Ben punching it, and then he finally punches his way out. There's some stuff in here we eventually had to cut like a third of the game out. You can see the drawings are getting a little looser. That's what that is. Oh, here's a copy of my notebook for Grim Fandango. Let's see. Here's me talking about Mexican folklore. Doodles are very important to the process. I always imagine my head is like the pipe of ideas, and you just got to clear it out all the time. So any idea, like a scene for the beginning of Grim Fandango came to my head. So I wrote it all down. I never used it. This is like a guy in a hospital bed talking to death and negotiating how he's going to be taken to the land of the dead with the Grim Reaper, who I didn't know how he was named. And then here's me trying to figure out the name of the game. It was going to be called Deeds of the Dead for a long time because it was going to be about a real estate scam. And then I realized, who would ever want to buy real estate in the land of the dead? I mean, it's like, people want to get out of there. Deeds of the Dead. There's a picture of a deed. You are Del Calavera. I guess that's Del was the name. I was into it for a while. Should you have assault mines? Yes. Rad Deathmobile? Yes. So eventually we got a Rad Deathmobile. I wrote down Mortal Kombat for some reason. People gotta die. Here's a Grim Reaper. Oh, there's a dragster. I'm trying to figure out when. So I was working on my old car that burned down during Full Throttle while I was making this, and we were fixing up with this guy who was my friend Paul Bonzi, who's he likes to work on cars and stuff. And he would talk about he would do all those dialogue, and eventually I would just write down and use for Glottis. Because he'd be like, let's look at the car and talk about how rad it's gonna be when we get it all fixed up. And he's like, yeah, can't you just see it? We'll slam the front into the weeds, tub the rear end, dual blowers popping out of the hood, wah, wah. I can say that stuff, and I was like, I'm going to use that exactly in the game. Drop the front end into the weeds, tub the rear end, twin barrels, hollies, triple butterfly scoop poking through the hood. I guess I modified it a little bit. Why did I write down Egg McMuffin? Egg McGuffin. The art director wants a racetrack with skeleton horses with demon jockeys, and I say cats, big cats. That actually made it into the game too, giant cats. It does fit with the whole noir thing, whatever that is, if it does. Death has a beeper. I guess that got cut eventually. You steal one. That idea got a star. You steal a lead. That became an important plot point. See, pages and pages of crap for each plot point that you actually come up with. Dave, is that a name I came up with? That's a terrible name. That never made it in. Maybe the kitten dying shows you something about how skeletons can die. What? No kitten dies. Huh. Weed 'em and reap? That never got in the game. Bone Runner. Nope, that didn't make it in. Soul Hunter, Tracker Marrow, Search, Seeker, Lost, Lost Bones, Wrong Bones, Bad Guy, Bad Bones, Mr. Red, Digitopolis, Dictopolis, and that's a reference to the Phantom Toe Booth. Talk about your dead-end jobs. I'm so glad that joke didn't make it. Well, that's a good picture. I like that one. I was really good at drawing that day. I stole that skull from the inside of the White Zombies album. Haley Domingo, Domino Norton, Domino Hurley. Oh, I am Domino Hurley, so that name got in the game. Wait, maybe I'm just the guy in the office, the competition. That way, the crime boss can have an older, more dignified name, like Hector Lamans. Hector Lamans. So now the names are coming really fast. Mike Rophilus, which is a joke on Microphallus. Did not use that. Not okay. So now I had 4 names for the game. Manny Calavera, Hector Lamans, Domino Hurley, Chowchilla Charlie.
Al Pacino?
Did I write down Al Pacino? Oh, he's like Al Pacino in Glengarry Glen Ross. But he's also like Humphrey Bogart. Here's trying to come up with ideas for the name. Dead Leads, Leads of the Reaper, Rolling Reapers, Reaper Madness, Where's Reaper? Reaper Sleeper, Peeper Keeper Beeper, Wild Reaper, Coal Reaper, Bone Reaper, Soul Reaper, Maltese Reaper, Dumb Reaper, Fired Reaper, Foil Reaper, Reaper Rally, Reaper Rodeo, Reaper Without a Beeper, Renegade Reaper, Lonely Reaper, Unemployed Reaper, Lost Reaper, Roaming Reaper, Wiedemann Reap, Reaper's Lament, Reaper's Revenge, Pale Reaper, Hunt to the Bone, Skull Quest, TM, Guy with a Sickle, Runaway Reaper, Manny the Reap, Nice Reaper, Chump Reaper, Glum Reaper, Glimmer Train, that's the name of a literary magazine, Soul Train, Glam Reaper, Garden Reaper, Reaper's Gauntlet, Reaper's Gloth Reaper, Green Reaper, Grinning Reaper, Grunge Reaper, Top Reaper, A Time to Reap, Bone Hunter, Skull Hunter, Journeyman Bone Guy, The Reap, Gay Reaper, Gypsy Reaper, Grateful Reaper, Greet the Reaper, Groovy Reaper, Reaper's Bookie. Oh man, I guess that was getting really close. Slim Reaper, Trim Reaper, nope. I'm like trying to think about other things. Maybe I'll design the game for a while and I'll come up with a name later. Time passes. Pilgrim Reaper. It's a terrible name. The Bone Wagon. The Bone Rocket? No, the Bone Wagon. Here's a picture of the Bone Wagon. Olivia Ofrenda, that's her name coming in. Reaper's Prey, Grim Pursuit, Grim Journey, The Unreaper, Anti-Reaper, Grim Chase, Grim Stalker, Reap High, Reap Low, Non-Reaper, The Lonely Reaper, Star Warriors. Wait. Olivia Ofrenda, lots of death poetry. Oh my God. Here's the puzzle structure, trying to figure out where it becomes non-linear. Here's this non-linear, and then these are the pinch points where the puzzles all come back together. Here's the idea for the shocks that hold up the bone wagon when you become eagles on pogo sticks. Scrimshaw City, that made it in the game. That was a cool logo I designed there. It's pretty awesome. Here's year 3 where the ship is hanging off the edge of the world. It's coming. Wait, could the cats pull the ship? Yes. No, that never made it in the game. The cats are going to pull your ship across the land. That's going to be awesome. The end. No, that's not the end. Oh, no, not again. Heart Knows the Earth, Realm, the Ticket Holder, Vain, Borrowed, Hurt, Dust to Dust, Soul King, the Big Grim, Limbo King, Elope with the Skinny One, Valley of the Bald, Rooster's Feet, Goat's Feet, Mary Sickles, Big Teeth. Oh my God. The big train, the last hoax, the last twitch, the last jump, the last switch, the last dupe, the final truth, the ultimate lie, the last deception, the last. You remember that last seduction? I think that's where I was going. The last sham, the last delusion, the last bluff, steal, the last grift, the last deceit, grim deal, the last art, the last trick, the last trip, the last illusion, bills of mortality, the last bill, numb, the last grin, the final grin, the last, the final, the grim, the terminal, the grim. Oh my God. Something underworld, something figures, the last fiesta, grim fandango. I'm such a fucking genius. You can see what a relief that was. I had put shading on it. I was so happy about it. I put shading on it. I remember I was so excited. I was working it was like midnight at LucasArts, and I went to my office and I couldn't find anyone. I found this guy Jesse. I was like, Jesse, I have an idea. Grim fandango. And he goes, I hate it. I'll never forget that. There you go. Yeah, I think that's the end of it.